The Cutter's Rule podcast is sponsored by Courtside Rehab and Training. Courtside Rehab and Training owner Dean Townsend works one on one with each of his clients. He specializes in physical rehab and performance for racket sport athletes dealing with a recent injury, surgery, or chronic pain. Dean offers both in person and digital solutions for rehab and performance. To book a free consult call, visit courtsiderehabandtraining.com or hit the link on the Courtside Rehab and Training Instagram profile.
Gentlemen, let's get down to business.
Can you dig it?
You dig it?
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Yeah, I can dig it, yeah.
Can you dig it?
For this episode, we have a very specific topic that Patty and I have talked about doing for a while, the young and up-and-coming talent on the women's side of paddle. I'm pleased to say that in addition to Patty, we have a new host tonight, announcer Lauren Mandell. For those of you that don't know, Lauren has a distinguished rackets career, including captaining the women's tennis team at Princeton and being ranked as high as number 4 on the ladies' platform tennis tour. Do I have that right, Lauren?
You do.
All right, great. So we're going to have a little bit of a different introduction than previous episodes, and Lexi's going to kick it off. Lexi.
All right. So my name is Lexi. I played tennis for Boston College. Come from a big tennis family. Both my parents were pros. Grew up in New Jersey. My family has an indoor tennis club, Westfield Indoor Tennis Club. I have to give them a shout out. So grew up like tennis was my entire life. I actually didn't know of anything. I couldn't relate to people that didn't live tennis. So played for BC, was a New Jersey state champ. So after graduating BC, took a little bit of time off. I actually got really into baking, and I had a bakery. It was called Lexi's Kitchen in Westfield, New Jersey. Then decided I want to get back into tennis. Coached indoor tennis at my family's business for about 4 years, and then decided I needed a little bit of a break and transitioned to paddle. And this has been my first season. I'm coaching at Echo Lake, and this is my first season really playing. So it's been a lot of fun, and I'm learning a lot and making a lot of friends, and it's been a lot of fun.
All right, who's next?
I'll go. So my name is Michelle Ncube. I'm originally from Zimbabwe, but I grew up in South Africa. I've been playing tennis my whole life. Came to the States for college. I kind of school hopped, so I went to Bethune-Cookman my freshman year, and then I transferred to East Carolina for my sophomore year. And then my junior and senior year, I was at Troy University. That's where I graduated. And then for my 5th year, I went to Georgia State, and that's where I got my master's in health and physical education. And then I came to Jersey, where I worked at Preakness Hills Country Club for the summer. And then now I'm at Essex Fells Country Club. This is my 2nd year here, 2nd season playing paddle. Enjoying it, learning so much. I think I've grown in the past year in paddle. And, shout out to Essex Fells Country Club and all my members here. They're lovely, and they support me so much throughout my paddle career. And yeah, just enjoying learning even more about paddle.
Who's next?
I can go. So my name is Mila. I'm originally from the Canary Islands in Spain, but my whole family is Serbian. So in the paddle world, I think there's a lot of Spaniards and a lot of Balkans. So I kind of can communicate with all of them in our native languages, which is kind of cool. I fall right in the middle. I went to college. I did all my undergrad at William and Mary, the College of William and Mary in Virginia. Played all 4 years there. double majored in finance and psychology. Then for my fifth year, I went to Florida State University, got my MBA there, and throughout college, I would come up in the summers to Long Island and coach at Piping Rock Club. Big shout out to them, which is where I first learned about paddle. My partner Gussie was telling me all about it and how much fun it was, but I didn't get to play ever in the summers. And then I started a full-time job at Huntington Country Club, which is where I am now. And yeah, ever since I started there last year, I started with paddle, fell in love with it, with the competition again. I missed it a lot from tennis and just kind of really enjoying learning every day that I'm on court. Every minute, I feel like I'm learning something new. So it's been super fun. And yeah, that's it. And big shout out to my members at Huntington Country Club who are always watching and supporting and right there behind me.
All right, Cami.
All right, I'm Cami. I'm American, but half Argentinian. Not many people know that about me. I live in Philly, work at Overbrook Country Club, well, golf club, and I've been here for about 2 years and a half. Before that, I was in school, played tennis at Texas A&M Corpus Christi for 4 years, and then contrary to like what I think is the norm, I actually went to the UK to do my master's. So I have a master's in developmental psychology, while playing for the tennis team there and just been playing paddle for 2.5 years. I like it a lot. I think it's a super fun sport, and I love the tournament environment playing again, all the cool shots you can learn how to do. One thing that people might not know about me as a player is that I can be a little bit superstitious in terms of pre-match rituals, and I like to try to do the same things throughout the whole tournament. So it's a little weird thing about me.
Love it. Lauren, you want to kick us off with the first question?
Yeah. Okay. My first question is for Mila. Mila, so you started tournaments last year. Last year was your first tournament, right? I mean, pretty
Yeah.
much all of you, right? Except for Lexi. This is your first. So, okay, so you start off last year and you and Gussie have been a super solid team and I've enjoyed watching you. And then you play Fairfield with Taya. And I would commentated your semifinals and your finals. And I mean, if you listen to it, I said, I mean, we were saying like, we were wondering if you were going to be able to hang in there. Those other three are super experienced players. Like you're playing with one of the very top players in the game and you're new. And so were you just complete and obviously you held your own. Like there was no difference between you and anyone else. So good for you. But were you super nervous to play with her or you just took it in stride?
Well, I definitely felt a little bit of the pressure of like I knew I was the kind of technically the weak link and kind of catching up to the game. But I was actually super excited to get the chance to play and I've been kind of hungry to play all the top players because last year I didn't really get a chance to play against the top teams and since this season started, I've like played everybody now and I've like seen a lot of improvement and just kind of being on the court with all three of them, I think that kind of lifted my game up as well and forced me to go for shots and tactics that maybe, I wasn't as comfortable with, but it was really fun like figuring it out and pushing myself to kind of rise up to that level and stay in it and then win it, which was super fun.
Yeah, and I thought you carried it right. I mean, obviously in Steel City, but I thought you and Gussie played so well together this past weekend. Okay, my next question is for Lexi, and you're probably not going to like it, but so before I commentated Aronimink, your match in Aronimink, someone was telling me what a great tennis player you were and all this, and clearly, watching you warm up, I could tell you had all the skills and whatever. And I mean, you don't need me to tell you what happened in that match. You and
Hoping this match wouldn't come up. That was my only concern.
no, but actually, I mean, this has happened to all of us. Patty and I were talking about this. Like, we all have a match when we start where we're like, oh my God, what just happened? Like, I thought I was getting better. And
Yeah.
then you lose. Oh no.
Yeah.
And So, and I know that from that time you've made big jumps in your game, but I was wondering how much you feel like how much that match was like, whoa, what just happened, and how much you learned from that match.
Yeah, I mean, I probably watched that match on YouTube like 4 or 5 times. And yeah, I mean, it was super frustrating. Like at that point, like I had felt like, okay, I got the paddle thing down. And then like I play another tournament and I'm like, oh my God, last tournament I had no idea how to play paddle. Like I feel like that almost happens like every week now. Like I feel the improvement and learning, even though I'm not like, setting the world on fire, I still feel like I'm improving so fast and learning so much. But yeah, I think that that was a big learning thing for me because watching it, even, I think like the live stream helped so much going back and watching. I just realized that like I need to just slow down so much. Like I was just trying to hit shots and they were decent shots, but they were just getting me into so much trouble. So like strategy wise, I still have so much to learn, but that's the biggest thing. Like I have the racket skills. Like that's not an issue. It's just strategy and tactics now. So that's coming. Yeah.
That's great. That's why you need to play those matches, right? Otherwise, you don't realize what you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. And then actually, I played a practice match last Wednesday with Macy and Lisa, and it was like totally different. So I'm getting there.
Great. Cami and Michelle, I was wondering because I watched your match. Was it Ridgefield? Was that the terrible weather?
Ridgewood.
Ridgewood.
Bridgewood, when you played Matea Mahalovic and Jolene Sutter. And it was just a super close match. And I was thinking to myself, like, how had you ever played in conditions like that before? Like, if you haven't, it's really a because no one wants to practice in that. You just don't play. So I was wondering if you had experienced conditions like that before because you handled it quite well. Even though the match didn't ultimately go your way, it could have. And you know what that made you, how you felt about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've played a lot of rain paddle. I think that was the first match I've played in like heavy snow that was itself very damp. And I think we all kind of know what to expect with the rain, but I think we all just have to kind of accept the fact that there are going to be shots that just skid out of control and there's like not much you can do about it. And I think ultimately what it came down to was the importance of holding serve because like all of our serves just became way more powerful. So then making your serve in made a huge difference. And I know Michelle probably feels the same way, but we had a few really crucial moments, and especially in the third set where it was on us to just, make the point happen, keep the point going, and like the pressure of the moment, like we just kind of like didn't play slow enough, or I think I had a serve game where I missed a ton of serves, which was a crucial game. So I think it's just one of those conditions that like you just have to take it as it comes and do your best. And it wasn't pleasant, but I mean, I think that's what paddle's all about, and I honestly enjoyed it a little bit despite all of the conditions.
Ah, good for
Yeah,
you.
totally. Like, first of all, I'm not a fan of the cold, so like the rain and the snow was like a lot for me. But yeah, like Cami said, it was more of adjusting to like the skids and getting used to those kind of shots that were coming our way. And, we weren't really holding our serves, which was, I guess, the toughest part because that's really important, I guess, in like paddle. I feel like when you hold serve, you feel much more, I feel like, better with your shots. So that was a little tough, but yeah, I think we fought hard in that match and we can take a lot of positives out of it, even though it doesn't feel the greatest losing those kind of matches.
Definitely.
Lauren and I talked about it a little bit the other day, and the reason that we went with the four of you for this podcast is, you look up APTA national rankings on their website. Michelle, I see you're coming in at number 23. Lexi, you're at 31st in the country right now. Mila gets the gold star of this group, number 11 in the country. Cami, 28. By next year, we want you guys just to keep going up the ladder in the sport. And I think that you're learning the valuable lessons when you get begled, and we've all been begled, is you learn so much about your decision making, and you also get to see why someone like Macy and Lee's on the other side. You get to practice with them, like you said, Lexi, last week. Your trajectory for learning, it's there for the taking for you four. And I think what I hope all of you have found is what Lauren and I found when we entered the sport. We were decent tennis players as well, maybe not as good as you guys, but we were welcomed into the community by the best players. And Lauren and I would do anything we could to get in games with the good players. And that meant maybe we bring them the 6-pack, maybe we bring the bottle of wine, but just come play with me, because every one of those experiences, I think that's will then define how you guys will go to the next level, the next step in this sport. So I would be curious, each of you have played against some of the game's current top 5 players, top 5 teams. I would love to go around the horn and have each of you tell me one shot or one situation that you wish you had now as a player. So Lexi, I'm going to go put you on the spot first because, we both go back to Westfield Tennis Club. I knew your mom playing tennis growing up. I believe, true or false, you played at age 15 against Macy Elliott. True or false?
True.
Got a little intel on that today. And
Wait. Who won?
I didn't ask Macy that. It wasn't important to me.
I'm asking. I want to know who won.
I just love the story, and I want to know your banana bread recipe because I just hear it's the best in the planet. Not only the Westfield, Union County, state of New Jersey, it's the country, I hear. So I'm hoping maybe Short Hills, Lexi. Hope to see you there. Maybe invite your parents over. Maybe bring some banana bread. Tell me what you would like. What shot do you want of a top player?
I want a nice lefty kick serve. I feel like I'm not tapping into my leftiness. Michelle's got it going on, but I need a little more spin. And so I'd like to develop, even if I don't use it all the time, maybe just more of a weapon on my serve to mix it up.
Okay, Cami, what's your next one?
I don't know if this really counts as a shot, but I think I would just have a better ability to close the net more frequently and better, and just close it off when you see the drives come in. I think that's one of my big weaknesses, and all the top players do that super well.
Got it. Mila, what do you got?
Big forehand drive from the middle. I think it's there. It just needs to come out in the matches. But I think, yeah, I'm using my leftiness as much as I can. Still need to work on the cutter overhead. That's I'm watching Guille Nunez, and I'm like, I really try really hard, but my shoulder and my elbow, I don't know if they can handle that much, but we'll see.
Let it get to you and let it drop lower, and you can do it.
Yeah.
The more you reach and you're away. Okay, Michelle, what about you?
I'm gonna go with what Mila said, the cutter. Definitely Gee's type of cutter. Trying to incorporate it, but it's
We all want that.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
I want Matt Moyo's paddle flipping. It's elite.
I want his hair.
Lauren, you go next. You got a question?
I have one more, Sean.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Go
ahead.
So the four of you, huge tennis backgrounds. Tell me the difference between the paddle community and the tennis community that you have found and traveling on tour and going to these events. We just came back. You all just came back, from Boston. The atmosphere that these tournaments create. How would you compare that to the tennis community? When you competed in college, let's call it.
Much more friendly.
Super more friendly for sure. I think in college it's a lot more, I don't know, like stressful, and like the girls don't really
everyone
get along. Yeah. Whereas in the paddle world, I feel like everyone's friendly with everybody. we all play against each other, but at the end of the day, it's all about, I guess, being together and supporting each other.
Yeah, I feel like the foundation of the paddle tour for the most part is just coming and having fun, and then you get to be competitive as well and experience that part of the deal. But tennis was definitely kind of more not an obligation, but it was kind of our job, and it was a lot more serious. And I personally love the fun part of it because I think it brings out the best of me. And maybe in tennis, I wish I would have had more fun.
Yeah, I think I agree with what everyone has said so far. I think sometimes in tennis when we were juniors or college players, there was such an over focus on winning. And I think in the paddle community, in general, like regardless of winning and losing, everyone wants to win, but having a good match sometimes is all that you really hope for. And like if you play a good match and everyone's happy with how they played and stuff, regardless if you win or lose, I feel like it's just more fun. And like obviously the drinking and hanging out and stuff is way different in paddle than in tennis. And it's also less lonely because most of the people that play these tournaments are doing what you do for work. Most of us are pros. So, you're across the net from someone who's literally doing the same thing that you're doing most days in and out. And I think that's pretty cool.
Well, I think the big thing that paddle has going for it always is the community around it, and whether it's the tournament directors, the APTA, I think everybody's goal is the same goal to make this sport allow the sport to just grow. And I think what they do best is welcome new players like you guys, because we love seeing fresh blood out there on the court. We love the fresh talent. And I think we're intrigued to watch each of you and your individual trajectory, because we know you all have the tools and the talent, and that's why you're on the podcast tonight. And it's so fun for us to just like watch you play a match where maybe you get begled and you'll never forget that match. But a year from now, well, you can laugh about it, and you truly will laugh about it, because we know that path. But you're all becoming students of the game. And how much do you think the ability to watch your matches helps your individual trajectory for improvement?
Oh, so much. I love it. If I had that in tennis, I think I would have been a different tennis player completely. But it's great. The feedback makes you learn so much faster. I love listening to all of you guys, what you have to say, because I kind of, I feel like we've all kind of just picked up the sport and been trying to figure it out, but we haven't really been coached as much as maybe we've been coached in tennis. So just kind of hearing all that feedback is really fun, and seeing it ourselves, it's a big difference.
Michelle, when was the first time you were on the stream? I think I remember.
I remember
Played
Long Island, I think.
How nervous were you?
Oh, super nervous.
I know, and we would say to people, "Hey, you're going to be on the stream," and some people say, "No, please don't do it," and then others are like,
Oh, yeah, no. I was
I'm
like, please, no.
I have a question for all of you. So you're all pros. You're on the court a lot already. Do you like to practice? I mean, in tennis, we all had to practice, so there was no choice. But in paddle, you could wing it. And do you like to practice? And if you do you like to just play practice matches, or do you like to get out there and drill and try to work on, the shots that you want that you all just mentioned? Why don't we start with Cami?
Um, I personally love to do everything. Like I like to drill and I drill a lot with my coworkers and Matt, my boyfriend Matt Moyo. And I feel like it's evolved a little bit over the course of my short career. But at first, I just really played as much as I possibly could. Whenever I had the chance to, I said yes, always yes. And then I think as the time has changed a bit, I feel like I tend to look for more quality practice matches now, instead of like, just playing just to play. Like practicing with more intention, practicing against, whether it's guys or like the best guys in my club or like people in the area or whatever. Just like choosing when and where instead of just doing it all the time made a huge difference for me. But I'm always one for drilling and playing and lots of fun paddle is what I like to do.
And Cami, when you practice with Matt one on one, how many times do you spin your paddle compared to him?
Oh, I'm not much of a paddle flip type of person, but I will say that in the times that we do drill, it's always really fun and we just try to beat up on each other and like, he does all his cutters and his spins and stuff, but I do drive through him sometimes, which I think is worth a lot because he has just, kind of sick volleys. But no, I learn a lot, so it's good.
Okay, Mila.
Um, I I love practicing. I love feeling prepared, and in tennis too, I love the grind and kind of just getting up every day and practicing. I feel like that preparation always gave me like the most confidence. But obviously now after spending 8 hours on court, the last thing I want to do is go and be more time on court. But it is super fun. I try to play a lot of games because I feel like, and just kind of have set goals in those games and miss as many forehands to straight to the screen if I have to, but just kind of be committed to certain goals. Same thing I did with my serves when I started hitting them a little bit more. But I wish I could drill a little bit more. It's just we all have, I'm sure, a lot of things on our plate, and I try to play as much as I can. But yeah, as Cami said, trying to get some good quality games, begging the guys around to play with us and spin the ball as much as they can and just try to figure it out.
Michelle.
I definitely love to practice. I feel like in tennis as well, that's where, I learn more and just improve my game. And, in Jersey, we have a lot of Jersey pros, and we love setting up games with like Lexi and them. Every week we're trying to. But yeah, drilling, I drill with Sven and Diego as well, try to beat up on them, but not that much. But yeah, just learning more about my game and trying to figure out where I can improve as well.
And Lexi.
Same as everyone. I love to practice. This this whole year, my goal is just to play as much as I can and just spend as much time on the paddle court as I can. Like Michelle said, we have such a good group of girls in New Jersey. Like we're playing like 2 or 3 times a week, practice matches, and it's so fun. And like it's no pressure. We can practice stuff, miss. So it's been really helpful to have that community of girls. So practice, drill, matches, whatever. I'm trying to play as much as I can.
Well, I'm a firm believer that you've got to love practice and you've got to put in the time because paddle tournaments are grinds and you can get yourself up to a certain level, but to sustain that level over the course of a weekend against the top players, I don't think it happens by chance. I think putting in the hard work and forcing yourself to go out after being on the court, I love the point about uh, picking, and Cami, you said you pick like more quality matches where we agree when Lauren and I started, like you would play, anybody would call you up and say, I'll play. But then you get to the point where you really needed to practice things because if you were horsing around in practice and you didn't have to be mentally pushed and physically pushed, it wasn't gonna make a difference in your level of play. So you kind of go up the rungs of the ladder, and I think choosing wisely is good. And I mean, you guys have access to all playing with great guy pros, and I think that's a game changer. I always felt for me, if I could get one game in a week with a group of guys, no offense to all the women who played, I felt like it really pushed me to another level because they would hit spins or just have reactions and just the wingspan and reach shots. I always thought, put me to the test because then you're going to be able to stand up to the test that you next face. So I think you're all on the right track.
Well, if you ask Ellie Hallbauer, she plays a lot with Tyler Frazier and Eric West out in Cincinnati and other high level uh, guys, and I think that she says it definitely has helped her her game over the last few years.
Ellie who?
Ellie who?
She's a has-been. These are the newbies. Hey, you guys, I'm intrigued with what would you say would be the match that's your best win so far, or the best match you played as a team? Even if you didn't win it, what was your best match so far? Just in your short careers. Mila, why don't you start? I have a feeling I might know your answer.
You might know it. Definitely beating Macy and Lisa in Fairfield with Taya was a big breakthrough win for me. And then there I kind of got okay, I've landed and I can compete with these guys on any given day and beat them. Which at the beginning of the season, the first three tournaments, I lost to them. The tournament prior in Long Island with my first set was a bagel. I couldn't see the ball. And just kind of turning that around a couple weeks later and beating them in a really, really tough match. I think I played the best paddle I've played. And then the second one, I would say the Boston Open with my partner for the season, Gussie. I think we had a really good match against Charlotte, Sakura, and Alison Morgan. I think it was a big mental battle. Wish we could have carried it on one more set at the end against Macy and Lisa, but overall, a great last couple of weeks out there.
Lexi, what's your favorite match so far?
I'm thinking the past couple weeks, like I feel like I'm playing the best paddle. I don't know that I've had like a huge win yet, so I can't pinpoint one match, but I've been having a lot of fun playing with Georgie the past couple tournaments. We played a warm-up tournament before Ridgewood, just a small lake invitational at Indian Trail, and we won it. And I feel like that was the first time that I really things started to click for me. And so I think I'm due for a big win soon, but stay tuned.
All right, Michelle?
I feel like Cami and I have had a lot of good matches. We're just waiting for that one breakthrough tournament. Um, but
Well,
yeah,
we'll get there. We'll get there.
we're getting there. It's coming.
Definitely.
And what's so are all of you guys playing Short Hills?
Yep.
Okay, and Mila, you're in Short Hills with
Gussie.
with Gussie, of course. Michelle, you're in with Cami.
Correct.
Lexi, you're in with Georgie.
Yeah.
Okay, and what do you guys think about cold weather paddle, warm weather paddle? We're in the brutal cold weather. We got the Arctic blast, all the snow. What do you guys think? Something tells me you guys like the cold weather.
I personally don't mind the cold weather. I think it's part of the game, and I think it changes things. And I think that everyone should learn, or everyone knows how to adjust from cold weather to warm weather. And I think that you just have to play to your strengths. And some teams are better in cold weather, some teams are better in warm weather. But the sign of a really great team is that they can do both. And I think that's what everyone should strive for. But I mean, you can't possibly get colder than this past weekend, so I don't know about Short Hills.
Well, that was brutal, but I'm just saying 20 degrees, let's say a normal 20-degree winter day versus 55. Montclair, we started, I mean, the first APTA event of the year was 85 degrees. And then you go to Boston, the extreme of almost 100 degrees. I mean, it was dramatic. But I just think when people are pure ball strikers and that ball stays a little bit lower, I think that feeds into great racket skills. Players who have those high level tennis skills.
Yeah, I didn't really expect to thrive in the cold, coming from where I come from, where today was my first day sledding. So that tells you my experience with the cold and the winter. But yeah, something tells me the cold has been fitting my game, so I'm not complaining.
I can do 20-degree weather, but lower than that, I don't know. But for paddle, I definitely agree with like playing in the cold. I feel much more stable in the cold, whereas in the heat, it's just unpredictable. You just never know what you're gonna get.
That's why I think the separation comes in the cold weather. and
Yeah.
you see players kind of go to another level because I feel like the game is slows down tiny bit in some ways,
Mhm.
and then the racket skills, the pure racket skills, can take over that all of you have.
The pro at my club has said, find someone that you think has similar style play as you and watch them and see how what they do in certain situations. Is there one player that you all watch and maybe try to model your game after a little bit, or are you just developing your own game individually?
Well, everyone's telling me to watch Mila as a lefty.
Okay.
True that.
Well, before you guys, there were no lefties. It's so
Three
funny.
lefties
That's
at a
crazy.
party
That's
There
here.
three
was
Wow.
Jolene, there
lefties. You
was
don't get that a
Jolene,
lot.
and then she got hurt, and there was literally no lefties. And then all of a sudden this year, I'm like, everyone's a lefty.
Yeah. I feel like
Yeah,
I
I think for
watched,
me,
sorry, go ahead,
sorry,
Cam.
go. You can go
And you're
first.
all so polite.
You
Go
go,
ahead,
Cam, you go.
Cammy.
Okay,
Or,
I was
or
just gonna
Mila.
say that in the short time that I've been playing paddle, I feel like I've been compared to Zubori a little bit. So I feel like maybe if I were to watch someone in particular, I would probably try to watch her because she has a good combination of spin and aggression, which is like really what I would like to do in my paddle game the most. Like a lot of spin, but you can also pull the trigger with wire drives, whatever it is, just picking your moments and being really precise about it. So I would say that, but I would also say that because I watch a lot of men's paddle, unfortunately, I try to play like them sometimes, which isn't always a good thing. But yeah.
Hey, I mean, those guys are playing like great women. That's what I say.
Yeah, for me, I think I don't know if I relate to anybody specifically just because I'm lefty and then the whole thing of lefty and righty situations and stuff. I've watched that a little bit with like a lot of care. Nunez and Powers just in terms of their positioning and their like who takes what because I think that's like a huge thing. And then everyone else, I just kind of try to take a bit of everybody because I feel like I'm a bit of a mix with a few people. But yeah, definitely the learning who takes what is a huge thing here.
Totally. Yeah, I think yeah, I don't really have anybody, but just I think everybody like looks at everyone's game and wants something specific from everybody, but while developing their own game as well at the same time. Um, with the lefty righty combo, it's more so positioning and just knowing whose ball's whose and just, having that repetition and doing it over and over just so there's no confusion there. So, yeah.
Do you guys all feel like when you started playing paddle, like you all had a specific tennis style? Do you feel like your paddle style is the same as your tennis style? Like, were you a baseliner in tennis, but you feel like you're much more aggressive in paddle? I always think it's interesting to see how people who were, such high level tennis players shake out if they you sort of have to play paddle differently. So, but some people just really prefer to drive and stay back, and some people are more aggressive. And I'm just wondering if you have the same personality for paddle as you did for tennis.
I
Lexi?
think
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mila.
no, no.
No, 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 you.
Okay, I'll go. I have the thought. I think I'm definitely very much the same. Maybe I think I can exploit my strengths a little bit more in paddle and hide my weaknesses better. Maybe because it's a lot of doubles and stuff. Tennis is a big court, so there's only so much you can avoid. But I feel like I am kind of the same kind of player.
I feel the same. I love to drive and I love to come to the net. Love volleying. So I do feel I have a similar style. I have to lob more than I would like, but
I think I'm different. Like in tennis, I was more of a grinder, like didn't really come to the net, was more passive. But I feel like in paddle, a little more aggressive than I think I am in compared to tennis. But I do love volleying, which is weird because in tennis I didn't really. enjoy the net.
Uh, I think a lot of my strengths have carried over from tennis to paddle, and I think that it applies to most people that come from tennis. I really do think that, not all types of tennis players would be well suited to paddle, and I think that like my strengths in particular in tennis were always variety and attacking shots, but a lot of variety, like slicing, drop shots, volleys, all that stuff. And I always try to be unpredictable, and I think that has carried over into paddle really well. And I like to try to do a lot of cool shots, maybe when they're not the right moment, right, Michelle? But
Right.
I still try them occasionally. So I do think I have a similar personality for sure.
Do you
You're getting
guys
better, Cami.
I haven't done a cutter in a while. It's kind of sad, actually.
I feel like
well,
last season I saw a lot more of your cutters than this one, though.
Yeah, yeah, they kind of have gone away for a little bit. It's tied to confidence, and when my confidence isn't super high, it's really hard to go for it, especially when it's like pressure and, or snow paddle or really cold. And in the cold, cutters are tougher in my opinion, because the ball's so dead. But yeah, don't worry, they're coming out soon. Guys, just wait and see.
how did you guys adjust when you started playing paddle to the one serve? What did you think? Was that a difficult transition for you
It
guys?
was the worst. Yes, it was the hardest, I think, for me.
Mhm.
Just
It
the
never
one.
gets better.
Yeah, it was never going in. It was always flying, and it's hard to find the middle when you're trying to get it in, I feel like. So I feel like taking a basket and going out to serve kind of helped a lot. But yeah, it was definitely hard in the beginning and still is a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mila,
I think
oh,
to do like a spin serve, it takes a lot of like, swing speed. So when you go for a big serve, you have to kind of go for it. And I think it's finding the balance, like Michelle said, of like how much is going for too big and how much can you still trust it. And like you also don't really want to fall back on a dink type serve, because most of the time you're playing against someone who has a really good drive off the return.
wait,
So it's just finding that.
Matt's not over tonight, is he, Cami?
No, he's not.
Oh,
But
okay, because we
I
don't
mean, I
talk
rip
about
his serve.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Keep
I'm
going.
not a fan of his serve, especially in mixed. It gets me killed.
Bring the armor. Mila, what for you going to from two to one serves mentally?
Uh, well, in college, I was made to practice a lot of second serves with a lot of pressure. So I feel like I kind of was mentally prepared for it, but definitely, I started with the push serve. I was like, come on, like I can't just risk that many serves. And then I was watching Lynn and Anna, and they were ripping those serves over and over and over, and Taya, and I was like, if they can do it, I can do it. So then I was like committed. In one tournament, it was terrible. It would be like four great serves, seven faults in a row, and like up and down, but. I think you have to go through that and kind of get over that hump, and then you get the confidence. You learn how to hit the ball with a lot more spin uh, and commit to every swing. Because if you're not committed, that's when you start missing them. Um, and yeah, so now I feel like I'm okay, but here and there, there's a few hiccups along the way, but I think it's worth it.
And what would you say is the other biggest adjustment? Is it physical or mental to going from high level tennis to high level paddle?
Um,
Mila, I'll start with you because you just were talking.
yeah. I think that the lack of instant gratification in paddle, there
Oh,
is
yeah.
no winners. Well, I mean, you can rip the ball here and there and get, a mistake, but um, really the only winners you see are some nicks and some drop shots and here and there a couple of shots. But I think being super patient and building the point to that extent at the highest level is definitely something that in tennis, you can look for your winners here and there, and it feels really good sometimes. And I feel like in paddle, you cannot look for that or focus on that because it's not going to end well.
Against the top players.
Yeah.
You could get on the court with anybody, a lot of people in the country who are ranked outside the top 50 individually, and you could just go through them with your racket skills, right? They're not
Yeah.
going to be able to handle your return of serves. You could hit your spin, you're going to feel totally confident on your serves. It's totally different. It's really a different sport when you're playing against the top women.
Yeah, you have to win the point like 7 times to win it.
Michelle, what adjustment did you see? You had the benefit, all of you, I think most players in the sport get lucky where their passion for paddle also gets paired up with someone who's passionate as well. We have Lisa Rudloff. Mila, you're working with Lisa. She's a great player, two-time finalist in women's nationals. The jewels of wisdom that you get, the little pearls all the time. I mean, it's huge. And Michelle, I think you have the benefit of Lynn and Sven up close and personal, and Mick, everybody. I mean, you were just in the middle of New Jersey pros over there. I mean,
Right.
how huge for you to have those people as mentors?
Oh, super big. Like, you don't, sometimes you take it for granted, but it's like you have so many people around you who are there to help you, who've gone through it, who've gone through this and have, succeeded and have become, national champs, have done it all, and they're there to help you, and they have the time, they find the time to kind of help you with your game and support you in what you do, which is super special, and I'm super grateful for them for, even helping me and, even playing with me when I was starting out, which is, super good, super nice.
Yeah. And Lexi, you told me this afternoon how Kathy Ackerman up at Marshtown Field Club kind of helped get you going. You had seen that court over at Westfield Tennis Club, which is a great facility. I taught there a trillion years ago, but I always loved it when they put up that one paddle court and I'd see people out there. And you mentioned that maybe your dad took you out when you were 5 and you don't even remember.
Yeah, I really have memories of just like being like, what is that like thing with with the wall, with the screens, like just not even knowing, no one ever used it. And then it was a little over a year ago, a member from Westfield Tennis Club, because I was really itching to like compete and play tennis again because I was just really missing the competition. But I found it so hard to play tennis with anyone that could compete with me in the area. And like, I'm not going to go to South America and play, $10,000 tournaments. Like I wasn't that hungry, but I just wanted to play. And a member introduced me to Sylvia Reich, introduced me to Kathy Ackerman, who's a member of Morristown Field Club and super involved there. And she got me onto the league. And then I started playing league matches, had no idea what I was doing, but learned from there. And like she really taught me how to play. And then started playing with other girls who told me about these tournaments. And like it all happened really fast from there.
Now you're hooked.
Yep, got the bug.
All right, I think we have time for one last question. Lauren or Patty?
Lauren, you take it.
What are you most looking forward to at nationals?
That it's in Jersey this time.
That's
No, I'm looking forward to competing, obviously, but like having fun. I think that's the most important part about paddle. It's just stepping on court and, doing what you've worked so hard to do and just enjoying it at the same time.
Well, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to kind of having fun, but then just kind of seeing how mine and my partner's improvement a lot throughout the season shows off, and hopefully we'll get a few more breakthrough wins and push to the end all the way. Obviously, confident we can compete, and if we can take it, I'm not gonna be shy. I want it.
Cami?
I think just having another opportunity to play one of the top teams and, kind of give them a battle. I think last year at Nationals, in Philly, Michelle and I had like a really good win in our I think was it round of 16 or our second match against a seeded team from I think it was Chicago, and we that was probably one of the best matches I think we've ever played together, and we kind of just rolled them like 2-1 or something, but we were just really clicking. And then that next day I think it was the next day, we played Macy and Lynn, and it was just one of those quick ones. And so I would like to have that back for this year, get to that same spot and like really just give them a battle. We can win, lose, just really like leave the court being like, this was a good tournament that we ended on a good note, and really just, tried our best, played some good paddle, and yeah, just had a good experience. Not that last year was a bad experience. It was just, I'm a bad loser, so would have liked to get more names in that one.
Lexi?
Well, this will be my first nationals, so I don't really know what to expect, but I'm definitely excited and practicing really hard these next few weeks to really give it my all. And I feel like I'm ready for a really good win. I've been close and getting better, so I'm just excited for the opportunity to compete and like just show myself what I can do on the paddle court.
Excellent. Well, I wish you all good luck. Short Hills, National, Midwesterns, if you're going out to Midwesterns the week before Nationals out of Jersey. So we'll see you guys on the courts.
Thank you
Sean?
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Hopefully you don't have to cut out too much of
Yeah.
No, I
what we
don't
said.
think there's anything I need to cut out. I do want to note, because I know Viking's getting very active, and I see Cami, and I know Lexi has one, so two is members of the Viking team.
We got to rep Viking, Team Viking.
All right. All right, ladies, thank you so much and Lauren, thank you for joining us. You were fantastic.
Sure, thank you.
Thanks
Nice
for having us.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah.